bad guy needs to win sometimes. Yeah, I said it. The villain needs to win sometimes, which means that the hero has to lose. What's going on, Javi Lobby? It's your boy, Javier. Here to touch on a subject that I think not enough people are shedding light on, which I honestly think a lot of people don't even understand the problem. Our hero is only as good as the villains they face, and we've known this for a very long time, but somehow Hollywood has forgotten it. If you've seen movies like The Godfather or shows like Breaking Bad, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. In these stories, they somehow found a way to take the bad guy and make you root for them, make you wish that they would succeed, even though we inherently know that these people are crooked, these people are killers, and these people are not the people that you want inhabiting your society. But yet, we root for them regardless. Why is that? Why is it that we are secretly rooting for the bad guy to win when we know that the good guy is the one fighting for justice? Well, there's two reasons for that. The first reason is we want our expectations to be diverted. I don't go to a movie or a film to see something that I've already seen before. I don't go to the movies to see the same old story played out over and over and over again tirelessly until I'm feeling as if I'm just throwing money into the trash can. I go to see something new, something that hasn't been done before. And oftentimes, the best way to accomplish that is by giving us a villain that is unique and diverse and shown in a way that has never been seen before. On the other hand, the heroes are somebody that we're invested in. It has to be somebody that you would like to root for, somebody that you feel emotionally attached to, but yet somehow you feel as if they don't quite meet the standard to beat the bad guy. When you make the hero the underdog drastically, it creates a situation to where overcoming the obstacle in front of them means that much more to the viewer. With the right writing and the right circumstances, you can create a compelling story which allows us to root for the good guy instead of the bad guy. But what happens in the cases where the good guy is not necessarily somebody that we're invested in? It's very important that you create such a figure in the bad guy that allows us to feel invested in that character just as much as the hero, if not more. This means that sometimes you gotta let the bad guy win. You gotta show us how bad the bad guy really is, how dangerous he is, and how capable he is of causing mayhem and destruction. If any of you watched the Infinity Saga, you will realize that the moment Thanos came in and completely trashed everybody, you knew exactly what kind of threat they were facing at that moment. By the time the second film came around, you were actually asking the question, how is it possible for our heroes to come back after such a major beatdown? It took major sacrifices on the side of the heroes in order to actually overcome such a major villain, which caused us, the viewer, to celebrate and to be relieved that they actually found a way. But sacrifices really had to be made. But too often, these days, the sacrifices are not necessarily being made. They will put you in circumstances where you feel as if the hero is actually in danger of it, yet you know some kind of miracle is going to happen to allow the hero to come out on top. Not due to overcoming some kind of shortfall or some kind of mental blockage that they had in order to believe in themselves, but by some kind of miracle that allowed them to get the upper hand over a villain who we were told was supposed to be dangerous. Ant-Man and the Quantumanium comes to mind. Just when Kang the Conqueror was beating Scott senseless, all of a sudden, the Wasp jumps in and turns the tide, and they both make it home nice and happy. But last thing I was told, that Kang the Conqueror was centuries ahead of them, that he was so dangerous that he couldn't be let out of the quantum realm. So I want to see how dangerous this character actually is. But how is he supposed to be a threat to the Avengers when one Avenger was able to defeat him? This is the major problem in our storytelling. See, we like to put ourselves in the place of the actual protagonist. We also like to put ourselves in the place of the villain. We want to be able to recognize ourselves with them. We want to be able to feel as if we know that person or could somehow become that person given the right circumstances. We all live a life where we're sometimes tempted to do things even though we know they're wrong, whether it's stealing or whether it's cursing out your boss or whether it's just telling somebody the truth even though it may hurt their feelings. But in society, we're told to suppress those feelings, to go along to get along in order for the greater good of society. But we all secretly feel as if we were able to just let go once or twice, we would all feel better. See, the villain inhabits that part in us. They take it upon themselves to do the things that we're unable to do in order to act on the things that we were told to never act on. which is why we secretly want to be the villain. We want the villain to win so that we can somehow feel as if we've won something, as if that one moment where you wanted to say something that you wasn't able to say, that you actually got to say it. You actually got to do it. But not only that, you got away with it. This is why in the Breaking Bad TV show, we were so invested in Walter White winning, because he had shown us that given the right circumstances, that we all could become villains. That we were all just one bad day away from being the bad guy. Maybe not selling drugs out of a van, but becoming a monster nonetheless. If you look at movies like The Godfather, Don Corleone was a force to be reckoned with. We liked the way he moved. We liked the way he thought. We liked the way he outmaneuvered his enemies. But yet, he was still the bad guy. But it's one thing that all of these villains have in common. Just like Thanos, just like Walter White, and just like Don Corleone. We could relate to them. They had characteristics that allowed us to put ourselves in their shoes. But nowadays, we are met with a lot of cookie-cutter villains who are just evil for the sake of being evil, who don't really have their backstories fleshed out enough for us to be able to see ourselves within them. We're told rather than shown exactly how big and how bad these villains are. Instead, you're just supposed to believe it because the writer or the director told you that it was the case. I truly believe that if we started focusing more on the story of the villain instead of the story of the hero, that the writing would be more complex, more fleshed out, and allow more people to be satisfied walking away with the end product. Now, I'm just a YouTuber, and I'm pretty sure the big wig directors are not going to listen to me, but when the fan speaks, somebody should listen. I'm actually a very committed comic book reader, so I'm personally invested in a lot of the heroes that's being brought to the big screen. But how many times will I line up to give my hard-earned cash to a movie that's only interested in telling you good is good and bad is bad, and there's no difference between the two? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, Javier, it's the wokeness that's ruining everything. There is a kernel of truth to that. I will admit that, yeah, sometimes I feel as if they want the less fortunate to be the ones on top so much that they're willing to lie about reality. The truth is, reality can be messy. Billionaire tycoons can be good people and they can be horrible people. And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two. It's the nuance that people are chasing. It's the differences that make this guy take one path over the other path that allows us to look at the world and say, wait a minute, it's not just black and white. So there's something deep inside of all of us who wants the good guy to win. But there's that darker side in us that also wants the bad guy to win sometimes as well. In most cases, when you write a compelling villain and that villain actually gets the upper hand and sometimes wins despite all the odds, that's when the story is most compelling. I want you to take a look at your top 10 movies or TV shows and ask yourself, how many of them have a compelling bad guy, a compelling villain, somebody that you find yourself rooting for and maybe even feeling a little guilty about it? I would love for you to write some of these movies and TV shows in the comment section below. Maybe I can check them out if I haven't seen them, but also we can compare notes. What do you think? Is it great that the bad guy wins sometimes, or do you only want the good guy to win? Is the story better when the bad guy is so fleshed out that you somehow can sympathize with them? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, peace and glory, everybody. Be peaceful and be great. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more. If you would like to get access to exclusive content, consider becoming a member or a patron at patreon.com/thejavilobby. You can also continue the conversation by joining the Javi Lobby Discord. You can find all the links in the description below.